Have you ever felt like you met someone who was quite literally carved from your very soul, only to realize that being with them was, well, just impossible? It's a truly unique kind of experience, isn't it? Imagine encountering that person who just awakens every single cell in your body. Someone who speaks the language of your deepest dreams, who seems to understand the parts of you that you've probably never dared to share with anyone else. And then you're forced to just walk away. It's a pain that's so exquisite, so perfectly designed, it almost feels intentional. It's like the universe didn't send them to actually fulfill your desire, but instead to show you something far more profound about who you're truly meant to become. Now, Carl Jung, the pioneering psychologist who really mapped out the hidden realms of the human psyche, he believed that nothing in our emotional lives actually happens by accident. According to Jung, when we meet someone we can't be with, someone who ignites our soul but remains forever out of reach, we're not just enduring some cruel twist of fate. No, we're being invited into one of life's most transformative experiences. This isn't about romance in the traditional sense, at least not always. This is about the universe using another person as a key to truly unlock the deepest chambers of your own becoming. Think about that person who still haunts your thoughts, the one who appeared like lightning in a dark sky, revealing these hidden landscapes within you that you never even knew existed. Maybe they were already committed, maybe the timing was impossibly wrong, or maybe you just lived in totally different worlds, separated by circumstances that felt insurmountable. Or perhaps, just perhaps, they were never really meant to be a lover, but a teacher. Your rational mind, it scrambles for explanations, right? Searching for logic, asking how something that felt so incredibly right could be so utterly wrong. But Jung would remind you, logic isn't the language of the soul. The unconscious speaks in symbols, in synchronicities, in encounters that break apart the carefully constructed story of who you think you are. When you meet someone you can't be with, you're not just meeting a person, you're actually meeting a mirror. And it's a mirror that reflects the parts of you that are still living in shadow, still waiting to be awakened and expressed. This person, they embody dreams, qualities, and potentials that already exist within you, but have just remained dormant. They're not showing you what you lack, they're showing you what you are truly capable of becoming. The magnetic pull you feel toward them isn't just desire, it's the call of your own unrealized self, drawing you toward growth, integration, and the fullness of who you are actually meant to be. Jung called this projection, the unconscious process of seeing in others what we cannot yet see in ourselves. But this kind of projection, it's a bit different. It's not about seeing your fears or your shadows. It's about seeing your highest possibility, your unlived life, your soul's deepest longing made visible in the form of another human being. The person you cannot be with carries a piece of your own wholeness, and your task isn't to possess them, but to reclaim that piece within yourself. The sheer intensity of your feelings, the way they bypass your defenses and speak straight to something ancient and primal within you, that's not chaos, that's awakening. Your soul is using this connection to shake you from the trance of ordinary life, to remind you that you can feel more deeply, love more authentically, and live more truthfully than you ever imagined. This person isn't here to complete you. They are here to reveal that you were always complete, just not yet fully expressed.
So the question isn't why the universe brought you someone you can't have. The real question is, what is their presence in your life trying to teach you about yourself? What part of your own nature are they reflecting back to you? What aspect of your potential are they calling forth? The answers to these questions hold the key, not just to understanding this connection, but to understanding your entire journey of becoming who you are truly meant to be. The love that breaks you open isn't the love that destroys you. It's the love that shatters the illusions you've held about yourself. When you encounter someone who touches the deepest parts of your being yet remains beyond your reach, you are being introduced to a sacred kind of heartbreak. This isn't the petty disappointment of not getting what you want. This is the profound rupture that happens when your soul recognizes itself in another, only to discover that the recognition itself was the gift, not the relationship. Jung really understood that life's most powerful experiences often arrive disguised as losses. The person you cannot be with has cracked open something inside you that might have been sealed shut for years, maybe even for lifetimes. They've awakened a capacity for feeling you may have forgotten you even possessed. They've reminded you that you are capable of a love that transcends the ordinary boundaries of possession and control. And this awakening, it's not meant to torture you. It's meant to liberate you from the small, safe version of yourself you had settled for before this person entered your life.
Before this connection, you might have been living on the surface of your own existence, going through the motions of love and connection, without ever truly knowing what you were capable of feeling. You might have accepted relationships that were comfortable but not transformative, connections that were pleasant but never profound. Then they appeared, and suddenly you understood the massive difference between simply loving someone and being in love with the absolute mystery of existence itself. They showed you that love isn't just an emotion, it's a state of being. Not just a feeling, but a way of seeing, of perceiving, of simply being with reality. This breaking open was absolutely necessary. Why? Because the version of you that existed before you met them wasn't large enough to hold the sheer magnitude of love you're capable of experiencing. Your heart literally had to crack open to make space for a more expansive way of living in this world. This process hurts, of course, because all growth involves the death of what came before. Think about it. The caterpillar doesn't just sprout wings. It dissolves completely. Only then does it truly become the butterfly. Your old ways of loving, of understanding yourself, they had to be shattered to make room for something more authentic, more alive. Jung believed that our greatest wounds often become our greatest sources of strength. The person who breaks you open isn't wounding you. They are revealing wounds that were already there, deep inside you. Wounds that needed to be acknowledged. Wounds that now, finally, can be healed.
Maybe you had closed your heart after previous betrayals, or perhaps you convinced yourself that deep, soul-level love just wasn't possible or wasn't worth the risk. Maybe you even settled into a life of quiet desperation, telling yourself that passion and soul-level connection were just luxuries you couldn't afford. But this person, this one person, has forced all of that to the surface, not to cause you pain, but to expose it, so it can be seen, so it can be released, so you can actually be made whole again. The intensity of your feelings? That's equal to the depth of the healing trying to unfold within you. You are not being punished by the universe. You are being offered a rare, precious invitation to return to your wholeness. The love that breaks you open also breaks open your understanding of love itself. You start to realize that love isn't about possession or control. It's not about getting your needs met or having your desires fulfilled. No. Love is about recognition, about seeing and being seen, about touching and being touched by the profound mystery of another human being. The person you cannot be with has given you a glimpse of what it truly means to love without agenda, to connect without condition, to be fully present to another person's essence without needing to own or change them. This realization is both liberating and terrifying, isn't it? It liberates you from that small, transactional view of love that traps most people in relationships built for comfort, not for growth. but it also terrifies you because it asks you to love in a way that offers no guarantees, no safety nets, no promises of permanence. You are being asked to love like the mystics, to love with complete surrender to the present moment, with total acceptance of what is, with absolutely no attachment to outcomes. The person who breaks you open is teaching you something absolutely essential, that the deepest love is not about having someone, it's about being transformed by your encounter with them.
They're showing you that you can love someone completely and still let them go. That you can be grateful for a connection even when it cannot continue. That you can be broken open by love and emerge more whole than you were before. They were never meant to be your forever. They were meant to be your mirror, reflecting the parts of you that had been forgotten or never fully developed. Now, Jung's concept of the anima and animus, the feminine within the masculine and the masculine within the feminine, this really helps us understand why certain people trigger such intense recognition. When you meet someone you cannot be with, you're often meeting an external representation of your own inner wholeness. They're like a living, breathing symbol of the hidden parts of yourself that have been buried, suppressed, or perhaps even left behind. This person embodies qualities you admire, not because they are foreign to you, but because they are profoundly familiar to your soul. They reflect back to you the potentials within yourself that are finally ready to rise into consciousness. For example, the creative passion they express so freely, that mirrors your own unexpressed creativity. The confidence they radiate, that reflects the strength within you that you've been too afraid to claim. The way they move through life with authenticity and purpose, that shows you what it looks like when someone fully inhabits their own being. The mistake most people make is thinking they actually need this person in order to access these qualities. They believe that being with this person will somehow complete them, that it will unlock parts of themselves they only see reflected in the other. But Jung would tell you that's completely backwards. You recognize these qualities in them because they already exist within you. Your task is not to possess this person, but to develop those very same qualities within yourself. The intensity of your attraction isn't just about them. It's your soul's way of showing you who you could become. They are not your missing piece. They are a mirror, revealing the parts of you that you haven't yet claimed.
And the reason you cannot be with them? It's often because you are not yet ready to be with yourself in this fuller, more integrated way. The universe isn't keeping you apart to punish you. It's giving you time to become the version of you who is capable of the kind of love you glimpsed in their presence. So here's a challenge for you. Think about the qualities that drew you to them. Make a list. What did you find most compelling? Now ask yourself, how can each of those qualities be developed within you? The passion you saw in them, where in your life are you being called to ignite that same fire? The courage they carried, what area of your life requires more bravery from you? The ease with which they lived in their own skin, what would it take for you to inhabit your life that fully? This person appeared not as a lover, but as a teacher. They came not to give you what you think you need, but to show you what you are truly capable of. The longing you feel for them, that's really a longing for the fuller expression of yourself. The love you feel for them, that's actually love for your own becoming, for your own potential, for your own return to wholeness. Jung believed that individuation, that profound process of becoming who you truly are, often requires these kinds of encounters with people who activate dormant parts of us. These meetings are not accidents. They are precisely orchestrated by the unconscious to catalyze growth, to awaken integration, to spark transformation. The person you cannot be with is playing a crucial role in your individuation process. They are helping you reclaim the pieces of yourself that were lost, neglected, or perhaps never fully developed. The pain of not being able to be with them, that is the pain of realizing how much of yourself you've been afraid to live, how much of your potential you've kept buried. It is the pain of waking up and realizing you've been living a smaller life than you are truly capable of. But this pain is sacred because it is the pain of birth, the birth of a more authentic, integrated version of you.
So instead of focusing on what you cannot have with this person, begin focusing on who you are meant to become because of having known them. Instead of mourning the relationship that could not be, celebrate the profound awakening that has occurred within you. They have given you a gift more precious than any relationship could offer. They have shown you who you are capable of becoming. And now, it is your responsibility to honor that gift by becoming that person. The relationship you thought you wanted with them was actually the relationship you need to have with yourself. The love you felt for them was, in truth, love for your own unrealized potential. The connection you experienced was a profound connection to parts of yourself that had been waiting to be recognized, to be reclaimed, and finally, to be integrated. They were never meant to be your destination. They were meant to be your guide, pointing you directly toward the person you were always meant to become. They came to wake you from the sleep of ordinary living, to shake you free from that numbness that keeps most people trapped in lives too small for their magnificent souls. Jung really understood that the psyche has its own intelligence, its own hidden agenda for growth and healing. And sometimes it sends us people who simply cannot stay, not to punish us, but to spark a transformation that could never occur any other way. The person you cannot be with is an agent of your own awakening, a catalyst sent by your unconscious to activate the dormant potential within you. Think about it. Before they appeared, you may have been sleepwalking through your life, accepting limits that weren't really limits, believing stories about yourself that were never truly accurate. You may have told yourself that great love wasn't meant for you, that passion, depth, and aliveness were just luxuries you couldn't afford. You might have settled for a version of yourself that was safe but not alive, acceptable but not authentic, functional but not fully expressed. And then this person arrived, and suddenly you remembered what it felt like to be truly present, to feel wildly alive, to love with a force that defies explanation, to taste the sacred mystery of existence itself. They reminded you that you are not just a collection of roles and routines, not your fears, your doubts, or your past. You are a soul, magnificent, radiant, and utterly awake. The awakening they triggered within you isn't just about love or relationships. It is about remembering who you truly are beneath all those layers of conditioning, expectations, and self-doubt that have built up over the years. They showed you that you are capable of being passionate, creative, courageous, authentic, and alive in ways you had forgotten, or perhaps never even fully known. And this awakening? It is not meant to be dependent on their continued presence. It is meant to be integrated into your very being, to be carried forward into everything you do from this moment on. Jung believed that some encounters are truly destined, not by random fate or chance, but because they are absolutely necessary for the evolution of your consciousness. Your soul called this person into your life because you were ready for the next stage of becoming, ready to break free from the limitations of who you used to be. And so they appeared to break you open, to show you your own greatness, to remind you of the more that lives inside you. And now the reason you cannot be with them is because the work they came to do is complete. They have fulfilled their purpose. They awakened you. Now it is your turn to take responsibility for that awakening, to integrate it, to live it, to become the person they helped you remember you could be. If they remained in your life, you might become dependent on them for that feeling of aliveness, that passion that was always meant to come from within you.